Hello and welcome to another episode of the SHU Doing podcast. I am Aaron Burrell alongside Paul Guarino.
What's up, everybody?
And we are joined by a special guest, our class of 2014 fellow alum, Alexa Aitkens. How are we doing?
Great. Awesome. Glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, it took us a while to schedule, because it's all AB's fault, though.
You see how he just does this? He's
Right,
just constantly throwing me under the bus. Always. I mean, I think he throws me under the bus and goes over forwards, backwards to make sure he's just like constantly running me over. But Alexa, thanks for your time. We want to talk, and I guess we'll kick this off with the easiest one. Why Sacred Heart, and when did you decide to that it was a school for you?
Why Sacred Heart? So I knew I wanted to do nursing and pre-med. I wanted to play sports. I originally had an offer from UMass to play soccer. Got into their nursing program, ended up tearing my ACL during the soccer season of my senior year of high school. Lost that contract, which I think was a blessing in disguise. And then Sacred Heart kind of just fell into my lap. Obviously, I played lacrosse there only for like 2 years, not even one full season, then a half season of my sophomore year. And I decided to just focus on school. I had more scholarships for academics than for lacrosse, so it kind of just made sense. The 4 a.m. spin classes were not for me. And it was close to home. I mean, it was like an hour from West Hartford where I grew up, so it kind of had everything.
Gotcha. What position did you play in lacrosse?
I played defense, which is interesting because in high school I played offense. I was very fast, but when I went to college, I played defense.
Gosh, I didn't know that. I also didn't know that you used to play soccer. I knew you when we were at school. Obviously, had no clue that you were a former soccer player.
I was way better at soccer than I was at lacrosse, but with the ACL, it just kind of happened with lacrosse. I don't know.
Nice. Well, as you said, everything happened for a reason. You ended up at Sacred Heart. Obviously, as we will get into a little bit later, met your husband at Sacred Heart. So we love these types of stories.
SHU Love segment.
SHU Love segment. That's PG's favorite segment, actually. He tries to pretend it's not, but it's really his favorite.
He's asked me about it many times.
Spending.
I know. Obviously, you said you went to Sacred Heart for nursing. As like we actually have shot interviews with some other nursing alum. And one thing we always talk about is like I personally feel like it's got to be the hardest major at Sacred Heart. Is that how you felt?
Yeah, I mean, at the time I thought it was hard, but again, I was taking extra classes to go to med school at the time, so I was doing extra like organic chemistry, biology, chemistry. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was hard. It was more like time management. Like you really you have clinical on the weekends sometimes, so you're not going out and partying and like doing all the college things because you just couldn't. But again, we still had fun. I would say it was difficult, but I didn't think it was like the most challenging thing I've done.
Gotcha. And how prepared did you feel? One thing we commonly hear is like we felt extremely prepared because of like the difficulty of what we were doing, and like having clinicals, having all these different things that actually give you real world experience.
Yeah, no, I will definitely say Sacred Heart did prepare me in terms of clinical nursing, everything. I started 9 months on a tele floor to be close to home. I moved back home, paid off all my school loans in 9 months. And then I booked it to New York City so I could be close to Alex at the time. But even starting at NYU in the ICU, I mean, that's one of the most prestigious ICUs in America. It was like we were doing things that nobody else was doing, like face transplants. It was insane. And I definitely have to say Sacred Heart set me up for that.
Wow. Yeah. What gave you all that motivation that you were saying, like, you already had a plan before you kind of went to SHU?
I would say my mom. My mom didn't go to college. I don't even think she finished high school. She's one of 12. She's the oldest of 12, but she's just kind of like a go-getter. She was like, yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. She was like, no, don't be a teacher. It's too much work. Like, you'll have your own kids at home. Go be a nurse. Go be a doctor. Go to business school. My dad had a heart attack. We're a carrier for this gene. So my dad had a heart attack. Was I at school? Yeah. I think it was the beginning of college. My grandfather had a heart attack in their 50s. Like basically like you turn 50, you get a massive heart attack. I saw a lot of that and I think it solidified nursing for me. I always liked helping people. I weirdly, like how people are like, I love like young kids. I like old people. Like I love old people. I love hearing about like their stories. Like, I don't know. I just always, I guess, connected to older people, which a lot of nursing is geriatrics. So kind of just worked out. I don't know.
That's awesome, man. And now, obviously, working in nursing, you have your doctorate. Can you talk to us about, the process of getting your doctorate, also what you currently do in your day job now?
So I wanted to go to med school. So when I was still in nursing school, I shadowed an anesthesiologist, and I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. I spent 4 hours with her. And she's like, oh, like, tell me personal stuff. I was like, oh, like, I've been dating the same guy for 4 years. Like, and she was like, you want kids one day? I was like, yeah, actually, like, I'd love to be a mom, would love to have 4 kids. And she basically was like, okay, you already have your nursing degree. You want to go into anesthesia, be a nurse anesthetist. No nights, no holidays, no weekends, less liability. You make great money. You're smart enough to go to med school. You are smart enough to go to anesthetist school. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I was like, all right, sure. Like, let's look into it. The requirements were like a year of ICU nursing, and then you go back for like at the time it was either a master's or a doctorate. The doctorate was 3 years, the master's 2 years. So I decided not to go to med school, which I think was a blessing. Went to Rutgers. I applied to Rutgers and to Hartford's nurse anesthetist program. Very, very small. The nurse anesthetist program at Hartford, I think, was only 8 students at the time. Rutgers they'd usually take 20 students at the time. You basically stop your life for 3 years. You can't work. You are on the grind, as they call it. So I needed health insurance, someone to take care of me, that's why we got married. It was just, it's difficult. You stop your life for 3 years. You don't have an income. You're traveling to all these different clinical sites. It's tough. You're doing a lot of nights, weekends, holidays.
Yeah. Going back to, you keep on mentioning your husband. So did you ever think you were going to meet your husband at college?
I would say no. I came into college with a long-term boyfriend that I actually broke up with for Alex. But I don't know. We met.
SHU T.
We met at the lacrosse house, and I walked up to him and said, we're in English together. And his response was, no, we aren't. So I was like, okay, goodbye. Started walking away, but he grabbed my arm. And then I think from then on out, we were kind of dating. I don't know.
You just told him you guys are dating?
No, he asked to be. So we were leaving. I have to remember this. This is a long time ago. We were leaving our first semester, and I said, if he doesn't ask me out, or like tell me I'm his girlfriend, then I'm done. And he did that day. So like nothing, like Alex waiting to the last second.
You were about to propose to him?
Hell no. You know, it doesn't work like that. I did tell my mom at 19 though that I definitely was going to marry him, and she was like, "Oh yeah, definitely."
That's awesome. You're from early. So you talked about, obviously you mentioned Alex, but for our viewers, everyone might not know who Alex is. So can you tell them a little bit?
Alex, come. Alex also graduated in 2014. He was the football captain. They won a championship. This is our oldest. He's 4. And our youngest is outside by himself. He's 2.
This is our first SHU baby.
You know that you're SHU baby? Did you know that? No. Who's that? Do you know who that is? Paul. Hi, Uncle Paul. Go back outside, please. Let's go. So yeah, Alex was a Sacred Heart alum.
Awesome, and as we said, we love.
Maybe you met his wife at SHU too.
I did.
Nice. Was she 2014 as well?
Yes, she was. Jacqueline Brandt. She was in the PT school. Now she's changed careers and now is a network engineer at the ACLU. So
good for her.
Yeah. So and we
she'll
also
be coming on the pod soon too.
Daughter now, so the SHU babies are popping up. The 2014 SHU babies are popping up. So yeah. So okay, and let's back to the career and everything, because obviously it's very, very impressive. In what? So you transitioned. You shadowed first with an anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
You decided that's what you wanted to be. What were the early days getting into the field? Actually, after you finished with school and you started getting into it.
So I looked up programs online. There's not very many. And I looked up the requirements for it. So I knew, like I said, I moved back home to pay off my school loans, and I knew I needed something more than just med-surg telemetry. So I started doing my research and started trying to get into an ICU that was respected, I guess you could say. I applied, I think, only to NYU is the only one I applied to. But in nursing, a lot of it is who you know and contacts, especially when it comes to a new grad. They like to mold you and shape you. Getting into an ICU as a new grad is definitely hard in itself, especially if you don't come from like an Ivy League school. But NYU actually loves Sacred Heart nurses. So that was one of my ins. Colleen Jensen, who I also graduated with, she was actually on my interview with me. And now she's like the top high up at NYU, like doing amazing things there. But she was in my interview with me for the cath lab, I believe is what she was interviewing, and what she got was in the cath lab. So kind of just, I guess, back to your question, seeing what the requirements were, I had a goal, and I thought, okay, how am I going to get there? I had to get into the ICU. I did that. I had to get my CCRN, which is another certification for nursing. I studied for that for months, got that, really worked on my interview skills, because I would say majority of CRNA school is your interview and how well, not only you know your stuff, but how you can communicate under pressure. Because obviously anesthesia is stressful. You have to be under pressure a lot. So that's something that they look for. And Alex practiced for hours with me, questions.
Wow, that's awesome. Obviously, you mentioned Colleen Jensen. Any of the other like nursing alums that you're still in contact with? I know obviously the SHU network stays strong.
Yeah,
so
for sure. I mean, Sabrina, Rachel, Gab, Christy, me, the five of us are still in group chats to this day, laughing about ridiculousness. And, you know, like Rachel moved and got her nurse practitioner. She now lives in California. All of us now have kids, which is crazy. 2 kids each, which is just insane to me that it's been fun though, because like you go through nursing, we're all still in the field, which is great. We've had children. So, you know, you still have that like SHU connection kind of thing.
For sure. PG, I know you have your fun SHU questions.
Yeah. What about any favorite professors?
I would say Dr. Russo. She was a nursing professor who, I don't know, she just like, I don't even know if she's still there, but she just touched me. She made me want to like be a badass nurse like her. She was really, really just, she was cool. I don't know. She made me really want to be a nurse.
What advice would you give to, let's say, a freshman from Sacred Heart is watching this right now who wants to become an anesthesiologist as well? What advice would you give them?
Find your group, definitely. Especially like in nursing, you need the people that you can count on. You're going to go through a lot of schooling. It's going to be hard. I don't want to say like you need your girls, but again, a lot of the nursing students are predominantly female, and it was helpful to have them, especially moving through everything. I mean, Gab Mendito is my best friend. She also went through the same thing. She's a CRNA as well. And even texting each other in different programs, having each other and having that backbone really did solidify that if you have some help and someone knows what you're going through in the most stressful aspect, it's nice. Definitely.
This is a super random question. How do they pick the colors of the scrubs you wear?
So when I was there, it was like weird maroon color, but I think they've changed now. I think it's
I mean like actual in the hospital.
Oh, in the hospital? Blue and green. I don't know. I think it's just something that looks clean. I know we wear dark blue at my hospital, and it's definitely because you can't see blood on it.
Interesting. Wow.
What about the coats? There's something with the coats. Isn't there like a longer coat and a shorter coat?
I think so, but not that I know of. I mean, like I have a white coat, but I never wear it. I guess like nurses don't usually get white coats. Maybe they get shorter, but like the doctor ones are longer. Like mine is longer. I think if you have like a higher degree, like nurse practitioner, or like I have a DNP, a doctorate in nursing practice, it's a longer coat. But don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure. I never wear my white coat.
Interesting. That's all I got.
That's it.
Have you been back to Sacred Heart recently?
No, which is funny because we drive past it a lot. I mean, we don't take the Merritt that much anymore because the Merritt's traffic is outrageous.
Crazy.
Which
Yeah.
everybody knows that. But we drive to Connecticut to see my family a lot. But we haven't been back, and we talk about bringing the boys, definitely. So I'm sure soon.
When was the last time you would say that you were there? Do you remember?
We talked about this a couple weeks ago, Paul. When was it?
Yeah.
It's been like 10
You
years.
said that- yeah, you said 2015.
10 years?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow.
It's been a long time.
You have got to go.
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
got to bring the kids and just
Well, if you think about it,
you'll be amazed.
I graduated, went and worked for a year and a half, then got married, then went back to school for 3 years, then had a surprise pregnancy. Then it was COVID. Then I had another pregnancy. So.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
Life.
fair. A lot has happened.
Life.
Yeah. Life happens fast.
It does.
No, that's amazing. But you got to get back there one of these weekends. I mean, especially Alex got to go see the football field, all the stuff that's changed.
Yeah, for sure.
The lacrosse team now plays. The lacrosse and soccer teams share a field, which is so much nicer than what we have.
Where is it?
So it's actually at like where the Notre Dame field
Oh,
was.
okay, nice.
Yeah, they built that out now, and it's really nice.
Okay, good to know. That's great.
Yeah, so on these alumni weekends, you guys got to get back and enjoy it. But
yeah, they got the golf course now too.
Really?
Oh yeah, exactly. As Paul is
Yeah.
representing.
Yeah, you know.
Oh my God, I remember before a Kid Cudi concert being on that golf course.
They just announced, actually, we'll plug it in here. They just announced that A Boogie with the Hoodie is going there for a spring concert.
I have no clue who that is. Never
Yes, you
heard that
do.
in my life.
All the kids love him. That's how you know we're getting old. PG just keeps up with him.
Oh my God. What songs does he sing? What was his hit song back a couple of years ago?
Don't do this.
Come on, you got to rap it.
Yeah, okay. Alexa, we want to thank you for your time. So thanks for joining us. This has been another episode of the What You Doing podcast. We'll see y'all next time.